Hello, and welcome to Unity of Fredericksburg. My name is Linda, and I'm pleased to welcome all of you to the Unity of Fredericksburg weekly online gathering. At Unity of Fredericksburg, we are advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. We thank those of you watching on YouTube, live or later, and invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're able to attend live, we encourage you to join us in the Zoom community room for the full Sunday morning experience, including music, prayer, and connection. Our weekly newsletter includes the Sunday service link, and you can subscribe to receive that at our website at uofva.org. For everyone local to Central Virginia, Unity of Fredericksburg offers a variety of fun and enriching in-person gatherings every month. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter at uofva.org for all the details. Our message today comes from our minister, Reverend Cheryl Fair. And now here's Reverend Cheryl.
Thank you, Linda, and welcome everyone who is with me in the Zoom room right now. Those of you out there watching on YouTube, whether you're watching live or watching later, I really appreciate you showing up and taking some of your very valuable time to spend it here with us. Our broadcast date today is Sunday, November 24th, and it's the week of Thanksgiving here in the US. So I have a few Thanksgiving jokes for you to start off, right? A couple of riddles. What do sweet potatoes wear to bed? Yammies. I love that one. They wear yammies. All right. What do you call a sad cranberry? A sad cranberry is called a blueberry. All right, and here's a knock knock joke. So I'm going to imagine you replying out there. Knock knock. Who's there? Norma Lee. Norma Lee who? Normally I don't eat this much. So anyway, those are our Thanksgiving jokes for today. As most of you know, this year, 2024, we've had a theme of well-being, and each month we've focused on different aspects of well-being. Over the past months, we have covered some really great spiritual practices that we can use to help maintain our sense of well-being. And if you've missed any of them, I encourage you to go back, go to our YouTube channel. You can find ones that you have missed there. September in particular, we focused on spiritual well-being, and we talked about affirmative prayer. We talked about a really powerful breathing practice called Tonglen, which is really great for helping to center and kind of heal your own consciousness. We also talked about the Buddhist practice of loving kindness. That was really good. And 2 different times we have presented workshops on the Hawaiian healing practice called Ho'oponopono. We did that in person in September, and then this past week we did it online again. So we've had a lot of good stuff that we've been talking about over the past several months. And in November, our focus is on integrating well-being. So we're looking at kind of overarching spiritual attitudes, if you will, mindsets, ways of being that can help carry us through busy times, challenging times, changing times. So I just want to remind you at the beginning of November, on the 3rd, the theme was holding the high watch. So this may not be a specific practice of saying certain things or doing certain things, but it's a mindset. It's an approach to knowing that no matter what kind of turbulence is going on in your outer world, holding the high watch is all about maintaining a focus on our spiritual nature rather than diving into worry and anxiety, holding steady to what we know is true. And then on November the 10th, we talked about the power of the word. Again, kind of an overarching way of being, understanding that the words you use have an energy that perpetuates, right? And the words we use actually shape our experience. So if you call a situation in your life a hot mess, well, you're claiming another serving of hot mess, right? And if you choose to call it an opportunity, then perhaps your consciousness will be open to more possibilities. So we want to make sure, as an ongoing practice, that our words really reflect our spiritual beliefs. And today we're finishing off this month as we head into Thanksgiving with what I would call the number one go-to spiritual practice, and that is gratitude. All right. You all know that I like to start off with definitions. So sure enough, I went to the internet and asked it to define gratitude for me. And it came up with two different results. The first being the quality of being thankful. So in this moment right now, am I thankful for the sun is shining? Whatever it is I'm thankful for right now. And then the second definition is readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. So I really like that first word, readiness, because that implies a mindset, a way of being, not just in the moment. Somebody gave me $5. I say, thank you. It's a mindset. I am ready. I'm looking for the good stuff. So, in spiritual terms, I've got some good quotes today. Here's a quote from Myrtle Fillmore. That's one of Unity's founders in How to Let God Help You. Heaven and earth listen and respond to the soul that is quickened into praise and thanksgiving. So she's just talking about, kind of like that prayerful energy is really activated when we are in that activity of being thankful. Here's a quote from Emily Cady in Lessons in Truth. The act of thanksgiving carries the human mind far beyond the region of doubt into the clear atmosphere of faith where all things are possible. Isn't that nice to think that as you are practicing gratitude, your mind, your consciousness goes beyond that realm of doubt where you're always saying, and out into the atmosphere of faith where all things are possible. So, a gratitude practice is way more than just positive thinking or just being thankful in the moment. An effective gratitude practice is an ongoing attitude of gratitude. I remember years ago, there was a woman who attended down at Unity of Richmond, and she had written a song about the attitude of gratitude, and it was lots of fun. I should kind of see if I can find a recording of it somewhere. So it's an ongoing attitude of gratitude, an active practice of looking for things to be grateful for, right? An active practice of expressing gratitude. I can remember a time, any of us who have been involved in long-term relationships, and I've been married well over 30 years, you kind of go through your rough patches. And I remember at one point when things were just kind of disgruntled with my husband and I, we made a choice together to just actively start saying thank you regularly, just for regular chores around the house. Thank you for taking the trash out. Thank you for this. And it really did just open up our appreciation for each other and all of the energy that each one of us brought to the relationship and to keeping things going in the household. So actively expressing gratitude. Gratitude really and truly is the number one thing you can do to enhance your own well-being. So when I say that, your own well-being, I imagine some of you might be like, oh, that kind of sounds selfish. Like I'm taking care of myself. I want to take care of other people. Well, back in October, we had a Sunday where we talked about self-compassion. And our title that day was Put Your Own Mask On First. So you have to take care of yourself first before you have to fill your own glass before you can serve to others, right? So these are all aspects of an ongoing gratitude practice, and just want to back it up with some data, some information, because it's not just in the spiritual arena where the power of gratitude is acknowledged these days, and there's a lot of data about it, a lot of things in social sciences, studies done to support the fact that having an active gratitude practice or mindset is wonderfully beneficial. So, mental health benefits: increases self-confidence, patience, resiliency, optimism, helps reduce envy, jealousy, and symptoms of depression. Emotional and social benefits: gratitude improves mood, helps manage grief, enhance relationships with friends and family, and fosters a healthy social circle. Studies have found that let me back up, a single act of thoughtful gratitude produces an immediate 10% increase in happiness. Now, I don't know how that is measured, but I'm just providing you with some data. An immediate 10% increase in happiness and a 35% reduction in depressive symptoms. So we will trust that all of those social scientists who are measuring these things have used really good scientific methods, so their data is clean. So they do note that these effects disappear over time. So we're talking about a single act of thoughtful gratitude. There's this spike in happiness and reduction in depression, but these effects do disappear over time, which is why having an ongoing practice is so important. Here's a quote from an article called The Neuroscience of Gratitude, and this is from the Positive Psychology website. When we express gratitude, our brain releases dopamine and serotonin, these two crucial neurotransmitters responsible for our emotions that make us feel good. They enhance our mood immediately, making us feel happy from the inside. By consciously practicing gratitude every day, we can help these neural pathways to strengthen themselves and ultimately create a permanent, grateful, and positive nature within ourselves. So they're talking about neural pathways. But those of us who have been studying New Thought philosophy, of which Unity is a part of the New Thought philosophy, we have a different phrase than neural pathways. There's a saying that's been around for more than a century. I don't even know how long. And we've talked about it recently. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So in New Thought, we've been talking these neural pathways for a long time, as in, that what you're thinking and what the thoughts that you're choosing, and we do emphasize that you can choose your thoughts and your feelings, that these create kind of channels and open up so that you can find more good thoughts. Now, this is in terms of the 12 powers, my friend, this is linked to your power of love. So the power of love is described as magnetizing, unifying, and harmonizing. So when you are holding a thought in mind, you're giving it your attention, right? You're giving it your energy. You're giving it your love. You're loving on that thought, whatever it is. And the energy of that energy that you're giving that thought is magnetic, right? So it attracts your brain says, oh, we're thinking this thought right here. Oh, we're giving it some emotional energy too. Well, let's go out and find examples of why this is true. So your brain follows orders, doesn't question, follows orders, seeks out more thoughts to unify and harmonize with that first thought. And you generate more thoughts of the same ilk, right? Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So, using your power of love in that way, you can see how a mindset of gratitude is developed, right? The more you intentionally focus on gratitude, the more thoughts of gratitude you will find and you will have and you will generate. Now, we do want to keep in mind, as a side note, that if the thought you're focusing on with emotion is something that's around worry or anxiety or fear or depression or whatever it is, the principle still works. You're giving it your energy, you're giving it your focus, you keep thinking about it, it's growing. The power of love is saying, oh, we're loving on this. All right, let's get some more going. So it's always your choice, my friends. As we practice holding grateful thoughts, over time, we move from just feeling grateful, which is nice in the moment, right, to being grateful. So that ongoing practice, creates an attitude, a mindset, and we build up our reservoir of good, healthy, positive energy. Now, this is also true in the realm of brain science as well. There was one time in my life where I was having a particularly difficult time. It was a time when I was uh, uh, working with my parents in their aging process, and both of them aging and dying pretty quickly. And I was really, kind of needed some support. And I went to see a therapist for a while, and she explained to me, how as we have, happy thoughts, grateful thoughts, there are chemicals in the brain that are associated with all this. We have a reservoir of that stuff. And when we go through long phases where we're in a challenging situation, where we're, dealing with difficulties, though that reservoir kind of gets depleted over time, and then we can reach that point where we feel exhausted or depressed and, reach out and get some help, right? So back to gratitude. So having an ongoing practice keeps that well nice and deep, so that when you're going through tough stuff, it's there as a reservoir to help you through. So here's a quote from an author. Let's see if I can pronounce his name. Galen Genrich. I actually looked up how to pronounce it, and then I forgot. So I'm making it up. And it's from a writing called The Way of Gratitude, A New Spirituality for Today. The distinction between feeling grateful and being grateful is important to keep in mind. If we only express gratitude when we happen to feel grateful, we will lose the benefit. So in other words, when somebody gives me $5 and I say, thank you, but I don't have an ongoing gratitude practice, then it fades over time, the effect of that, right? All right, back to the quote. The purpose of making gratitude a practice is not only to create spaces in our lives for experiences we value, but also to maintain places in our lives for those experiences when they're missing. So this is, another quote that emphasizes the kind of, building a reservoir of good, grateful thoughts, is there so you can tap into it when things are rough out there in your life. So it helps carry you through the rough patches, having that ongoing gratitude practice. Here's a quote from Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind. There is something in Thanksgiving that carries us beyond the field of doubt and out into one of faith and acceptance. Sounds very much like the quote from Emily Cady, doesn't it? He goes on to say, gratitude is the power which attracts and magnifies the potential of life. Sounds again like what we were talking about with the power of love, attracts, magnetizes, and magnifies. Here's another quote from Martha Smock in Listen, Beloved. You take an important step toward having the kind of life you long to have by establishing the habit of giving thanks. Do not wait to give thanks until every prayer is answered. Do not wait to give thanks until things are perfect. Give thanks where you are, in the present set of circumstances, in the conditions in which you find yourself. Give thanks for life. Give thanks for this day at hand. Give thanks for the opportunities to grow and learn. So, let's just cover real quickly. These are things that you probably already know, but it's good for us to just mention these things. Some examples of how you can develop an ongoing gratitude practice. So for many people, keeping a gratitude journal is really, really kind of gets them in the groove, in the habit. So it can be taking time at the beginning of your day or the end of your day or with your afternoon tea or coffee to just journal about things you're grateful for. Some people like to use a gratitude jar where you've got a jar and, some little scraps of paper. And every time something pops into your mind, you kind of jot it in, pop it into the jar. And then as you see that collection of, paper scraps, if you see that jar filling up, then you're reminded in those moments where things are challenging that it's like, look at all these, things I have to be grateful for. Many of us will pause before we eat and express gratitude to source, to universe, to the earth, however, whatever style that you like to do it. Of course, many people will practice gratitude in meditation, reflecting on things big or small that you're grateful for to connect with that ongoing sense of appreciation. Doing things like writing a thank you letter or a card or an email or a text, just those kind of ongoing little moments to let someone know how much you appreciate them, and doing those on a regular basis, and just making it a point as you go through your day to say thank you to people. Just for opening a door, or even if you're not in direct contact with them, someone out on the road that allows you to merge in without a hassle, just having that kind of gratitude mindset. Now, I want to say all this, but I also want to acknowledge that being grateful is not always easy, right? We do go through rough patches. And recently, there was an email that came out from the Daily Word, and it was a letter from Teresa Burton, who's the editor of the Daily Word. And she explains that she writes this letter every November about gratitude. And here she said this year, so she's writing the letter to share my thoughts about gratitude and its role in spiritual living. I believe in the power of gratitude to help transform difficult, even dire circumstances. I believe a daily gratitude practice can help heal and prosper lives. I believe feeling grateful is key to abundant living. So I was surprised when I found myself struggling to write about it this year. So she went on to explain that she and her husband had experienced kind of, massive damage in their home. It had to do with a flood and all kinds of things. And it had just been months and months of grief. And she was really having a hard time writing her annual letter about gratitude. So she says she wondered if being, and here's a quote from her, being so adamant about being positive and feeling grateful that I wasn't willing to make room for the pain and distress that came with my more troubling experiences. So, this is an important thing for us to recognize, the importance of being with your stuff, acknowledging, caring for yourself, when you're feeling overwhelmed, to allow that to come forth and process it. So, Teresa, she references scripture. Then this is from First Thessalonians. So this is one of these letters that the Apostle Paul wrote. And in this quote, he says, "Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances." And here's more of what Teresa Burton said in her letter this year. "I love that verse, but I realized over the last few weeks I was using it to hold myself to a standard I was not able to meet. Sometimes we need to give ourselves the grace to go through whatever we need to go through. A sour mood, a fit of anxious worry, even a modicum of self-pity can give us the space and freedom to feel and ultimately release what troubles us so we can once again return to positivity and feeling grateful for our blessings." So I felt like this letter was a really important reminder because things have been rough for a lot of people lately. And it's so important for us to extend compassion to ourselves, filling your glass so that you can then go on doing your good work in the world. And having something like a gratitude practice is not just kind of toxic positivity, like, I'm up to my neck in doo doo, but I'm saying I'm grateful. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to bypass our feelings, not notice what needs to be noticed and processed. And kind of like we were saying before, if you have an ongoing gratitude practice, then you have a well that you can draw upon. Here's another quote. This is from Scott Aubrey, and he is the person who presents the Spiritual Passages website, which I consult on a regular basis and also send donations to every month because I consult it on a regular basis. So here's Scott Aubrey. "Gratitude is the awareness, the feeling that all is well. That doesn't mean we have to be thankful for the crummy stuff going on. The scripture says," and again, he's referencing the same scripture that Teresa Burton did, "In everything give thanks." In everything, not for all things. We can sustain a grateful heart even when circumstances don't appear to warrant it. That's living in a state of grace, living in gratitude. So don't deny your feelings, my friends, and still allow space for gratitude. Have that ongoing gratitude practice to help support you through those moments that are difficult. And I invite you to make gratitude your number one go-to practice on a day-to-day basis, the first thing that you go to when things get challenging. I want to share one more transformational aspect of gratitude before we move into our meditation. And that is that gratitude is not bound by time, right? So we're all here living our human lives, right? So we are relating to time all the time. And we know that the minister I learned from, she would say, "In God, there is no time." So in spiritual terms, we are not limited like we are in human terms to time. And so what that means is that as we practice gratitude, that can help us to heal and reframe things from the past. Haven't we all had that experience where we've been through something really trying, and yet as we get to the other side, we can look back and go, look at all the good that was showing up. Look at what I learned from that. Look at the dire circumstances that I avoided by following my wisdom. So Gratitude is something that can kind of project back into the past and heal and lift up circumstances. Now, we've been talking a lot about having gratitude in the here and now, but gratitude can also be transformational for shaping our future, because that mindset we're developing with an ongoing gratitude practice lays the groundwork for discovering new things to be grateful for, right? So our expectations shift from waiting for the next shoe to drop to waiting for the good that's coming around the next bend, right? So we're assured by our faith that good is there in the future, in all circumstances, in every moment, just like it is right here, right now. So once again, my friends, I invite you to lean into what I'm calling our number one go-to spiritual practice that helps us to integrate all of our aspects of well-being, and that is gratitude. As we often say here at Unity of Fredericksburg, I am grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful. So it is. So now we're going to move into our time of meditation. And I'm going to use some more material that came in the form of an email from Unity World Headquarters. And this was a message that came from the Unity Prayer Ministry, often in the past referred to as Silent Unity. This is an inspirational text from Reverend Sheila McKeithen, and she's from the Universal Center of Truth for Better Living in Kingston, Jamaica. She bases this on Psalm 136 and the line, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord." So take a deep breath, if you will, and just settle into this moment. Just get yourself a little more comfortable. Take a couple of deep breaths in and out. If you wish, you can allow your outer eyes to drift closed. And let's listen to these words from Reverend Sheila McKeithen. The guiding wisdom of the infinite directs my path. Oh, give thanks. The pure love of the Creator attracts me to all that is right for me. Oh, give thanks. Power of good lifts me above whatever arises to knock me down. Oh, give thanks. Faith keeps my gaze ever upward, looking to the source that makes all things possible. Oh, give thanks. Divine strength holds me steady and delivers me from all forms of weakness. Oh, give thanks. So let's take this energy of, oh, give thanks, and move into a time of silence together, right here and now. And as we begin to bring our attention back to the current moment, just feel the air against your skin. Feel the breath moving in and out of your body. Feeling that energy of gratitude. moving through you like uplifting waves. And here's a closing statement once again from this passage from Reverend Sheila McKeithen. This day, I keep words of thanksgiving on my lips and gratitude in my heart for the gift of another moment to live, laugh, or simply pick myself up and try again. Oh, give thanks. So we'll close our time of meditation with an affirmation. I'm going to put my hand right on my heart space. I like to anchor affirmations in my body, in my heart space, while I'm busy working it up here with my thoughts and my voice. So here's the affirmation, and you can repeat it with me a couple times at home. As I practice gratitude, my heart sings, and all is well. Say it with me, friends. As I practice gratitude, my heart sings and all is well. Let's do it one more time. As I practice gratitude, my heart sings and all is well. So it is, my friends. That's it for me, and I'm going to hand it back to our friend Linda.
Thank you, Reverend Cheryl, and thank you all for watching the weekly broadcast from Unity of Fredericksburg. Visit our website, uofva.org, to learn more about our mission of spiritual awakening and transformation, and support our ministry with your financial donation. Thanks again for